600 slaps. That was the price tag for being Mason Steele's daughter. Miss a note? I paid with my flesh. Want a childhood? I paid with blood. By 11, I was a prodigy at the most prestigious conservatory prep school in the country. By 12, I was #1 nationwide. My father, Mason Steele, was ecstatic. He soaked up the spotlight, desperate for the gold medal that would prove he wasn't a loser. He wanted the world to praise his methods. Before the finals, the reporters swarmed. A camera crew shoved a microphone into my face. Winter, the reporter asked, do you have anything to say to your father before you go on stage? Mason stood behind the cameras, his eyes burning with that familiar, manic expectation. Millions were watching. I looked into the lens, and I smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. It was dead inside. My father just said he is proud of me, I said, my voice crystal clear in the silence. He calls himself a father. I call him a murderer. He killed the 5-year-old Winter Fox. Chapter 1. Mason Steele didn't have a degree, but he had a dangerous obsession, legacy. That year, a young piano prodigy had just shattered world records, sending parents across America into a frenzy. Every dad wanted a trophy kid. Mason shouldn't have been one of them. He originally wanted a son. He and my mother, Elizabeth, were discussing how to fix the mistake of having a daughter. They wanted to dump me on a distant relative so they could try again for a boy, the heir Mason desperately craved. Then, a local music teacher changed everything. After hearing me fumble through a few nursery rhymes, she looked at Mason with wide eyes. Mr. Steele, she said, your daughter, she's a genius. That single sentence saved my life. And then, it ruined it. Mom and Dad are betting everything on you, Mason told me, gripping my small shoulders until it hurt. If you fail, you betray us. You betray everyone. I was 5 years old when I was shackled to the piano bench. Mason taped a schedule to my headboard. He had found some viral article about a famous virtuoso's routine and decided it wasn't enough. You started late, he said, his voice hard, so you have to bleed for it. They practice 6 hours? You practice 12. He leaned closer. That's how you beat them. If you have school during the day, you don't sleep at night. You play. Night after night, the piano hammered against the silence. Ping, pang, crash. The neighbors pounded on our door. Mason, we have work in the morning. Cut it out. He ignored them. Mrs. Dean, the elderly woman who lived upstairs, started banging on her pipes whenever I played past midnight. Clang, clang. The rhythm was jagged, angry. It messed up my tempo. I faltered. The next morning, Mason marched upstairs. He threw a dead rat onto Mrs. Dean's welcome mat. I heard her grandson screaming from the hallway. You old hag, Mason roared, kicking her door. You mess with Winter's future, and I'll end you. He came back 10 minutes later, breathing hard, unbuckling his leather belt. He sat next to me on the bench. I handled the distraction, he said, the leather snapping in his hands. Now, if you mess up, it's on you. I stared at the belt. I didn't dare cry. Chapter 2. Pain kept the beat. Wrong note? Slap. Yawn? Strap. Sometimes he used his hand, sometimes the belt. It depended on his mood, on how much whiskey he'd had, on how much he hated his dead-end job. After the beatings, he would gaslight me. I'm too good to you, Winter, he would say. My dad used to beat me with a hose and starve me. I'm doing this so you can be a star. You think I like hurting you? Charlotte Hale was the first one to notice. She was my new piano teacher, gentle, beautiful, a divorcee trying to rebuild her life. She saw the purple bruises on my forearms. Winter, she whispered, tracing the marks. How did this happen? I told her. She stopped writing. Her pen hovered over the grade sheet, trembling. No yelling, no hitting. She just looked at me. Winter, she whispered. How many hours did you sleep? When Mason came to pick me up, Charlotte blocked the doorway. Mr. Steele, she said, her voice trembling but firm. You cannot hit her. It's abuse. And she's 5. She needs sleep to grow. Mason didn't argue. He just stared at her with cold, dead eyes. He never took me back to her house. As he dragged me down the driveway, he sneered, loud enough for her to hear. Useless woman. No wonder her husband left her. She doesn't know how to raise a winner. Chapter 3. Only your parents truly want you to succeed. Mason brainwashed me. Everyone else is jealous. Don't listen to the haters. At 11, I got into the country's top music conservatory prep school. A legendary professor took me on as his final student. The news shattered our small town. Reporters camped on our lawn. Mason loved the clout. He stood on the porch, selling his toxic brand of love to anyone who would listen. I told Winter, piano is your life. If you don't play, you might as well be dead, he bragged to a journalist. My discipline is strict. Once, she played a note wrong 3 times. I slapped her face. On the 4th try? Perfect. He laughed. Kids are animals. They need to be broken to be built. She might hate me now, but she'll thank me when she's famous. The headlines screamed, the 600 slaps that made a genius. Some parents were horrified. Most were envious. They came to our house, asking for advice. Isn't that too harsh? One brave mom asked. That's why your kid is average. Another parent snapped back. We moved to the city. Mason sold our house, sent my mom to live with her brother to make money, and rented a cramped apartment near the school to supervise me. On the first day of orientation, the principal asked if any parents wanted to speak. Mason shot his hand out. He grabbed the mic before anyone could stop him. My daughter, Winter Fox, is the youngest here, he announced, his voice booming. But I promise you, she will outwork every single one of you. She isn't just going to be the next great soloist. She is going to destroy the competition. attention. I shrank into my seat. 300 heads turned to look at me. I tugged on his sleeve. Dad, please, stop. He glared at me. Louder. You need to crush them. From that day